morning, teacher and classmates. My work group is made out of by Catalina Manuela Delgado, Lucy Catalina Guerra, Maria Paula Pavon, Santiago Imat, and Silvia Sierra, who is addressing you. We are going to tell you about our project, and for this we are going to divide this talk into 6 parts. In the first part we will talk about our process to carry out the project. In the second part we will mention the question of our problem. In the third part we will expose the description of the problem in general. In the fourth part we will socialize the survey conduct. In the fifth part we will cover the possible solution with the pros and cons along with the most accurate solution, and finally in the sixth part we will dedicate it to the conclusion.
Moving into our process to carry out the project. Our research project took approximately 4 weeks in which we researched, collected information, and wrote the whole project. The chosen topic was based on the social problem. It is about the mental health in students, and this is a real problem. Mental health really affects and influences the behavior of students, causing them to have problems with concentration, change of routine, or difficulty interacting with other people, this among others. When we started, we didn't know about this whole situation, the way in this situation has been impacting people, if they have been able to cope with the situation of returning to face-to-face attendance, if all this has generated some psychological problems, or if the quarantine affected or helped them in their personal work, or especially academic life. We don't know if the quarantine helped or harmed the students in the different areas of their lives, nor we knew how much our mental health has been affected, or if we need help in case of a negative impact to cope with this affectation and just be able to adapt again in our.
On the other hand, we know that it all began with COVID-19, which created a health emergency that forced all the world's inhabitants into seclusion, changing their way of life. The confinement led Colombian students to follow their classes remotely through platforms such as Teams, Zoom, or Meet. This modality of study was totally different from the way in which the students took their classes at UPU Bucaramanga, since it was done in person. After the massive vaccination of the population, everything is returning to normal. That is to say, work and academic activities are once again being carried out in person, implementing biosecurity protocols. We know that everything that has happened has had a great impact on people's mental health. For some it has been positive, for others it has been unfavorable. We got information on the internet, we found different news and research about the topic.
The next part that we will cover is the exposition of our problem question. Our research question is, how can we help the different students whose mental health has been affected by the pandemic? Now, let's turn to the description of our problem. Basic mental health is a term that has gained greater recognition over time, especially in the aftermath of the pandemic, because it highlights our vulnerability as human beings and emphasizes the importance of holistic health. Many people's lives change completely with the state of emergency generated in different countries for the prevention of COVID-19. Habits, routines, things of our daily life, such as being in contact with the environment, close with our family and friends, attending class or work, suffer a change and many people generate for worry, stress, anxiety, among other emotions, feelings, or hormones that lead different people to suffer mental disorders such as depression. within this group of people, one of the most affected were the students who have to move from a face-to-face educational modality to a virtual modality in which they live different experience, stress and anxiety generated with the change and uncomfortable study environment due to the nice case by neighbors and everyday relative higher productivity achievement as personal goal for some that could positively or negatively influence their mental health.
We will discuss the survey conducted. We conducted a survey of 21 people between the ages of 18 and 28 years old. 62% of the respondents were women and 38% were men. The question asked were, do you consider that the situation produced by the COVID-19 has affected your mental health? To which the result was that 2 of 3 people reported some kind of condition due to the COVID-19 pandemic. When we take a cluster between socioeconomic stratum and level of affection, we found that the results were that no causal relationships were found between socioeconomic stratum and the effects of the COVID-19. And finally, what effects did you experience as a consequence of COVID-19 quarantine? And almost affected individuals were found to have stress, anxiety, insomnia, or some type of disability.
Now, let's turn to the solution that we propose. The first is to create an Instagram page where different students share their experience as a kind of venting and in which tips on mental health care are given. Pros. Instagram is a massive social network through which we can reach many students. Students feel more comfortable talking about their experience, especially the effects of the pandemic, through social media. Cons. The fact that people don't want to participate. The second is to design and organize a campaign in which students can share their experience and be trained to better cope with the effects of the pandemic. Other pros is the training can help both students who were not affected by the pandemic as well as those who were in that it can create better relationship to understand the affect students and prevent those who were not. Other cons is that students do not have the confidence to share the experience with other students or teachers, and no attendance by students to other academic outcomes.
And finally, the third solution is to propose institutional activities at the university with advisory professors that allow the exhibition, analysis, and reflection of the effects of the pandemic on students. Pros, UPB students can socialize with their classmates and professors and share experience about what they experienced during the pandemic. And cons, being in person in front of their peers and teachers, students can feel inhibited in expressing their emotional feelings. Being face-to-face, the time required for the activity is longer, and that is why students can stop attending since they have classes.
Idea to create the Instagram page to upload tips on how to handle different situations that affect them and where students can live their stories, experience, or advice to help others.
After deciding that the project will be carried out through the social network Instagram, looking for the reach of people, we decide to start by creating the logo and name for the page. For the name, we decide to go with Mente Sana, Llámate a Ti Mismo, as we felt it described our problem and what we want with the project.
Then, when creating the logo, we used a color palette that worked for the academic and educational theme we want to communicate, as well as colors that will not be disturbing to people but would convey peace and serenity. When the march was ready, we shared the creation of the post that we would share on the profile. The distribution of the topics was given according to what we want to project, which was the description of the problem, images showing tips on how to improve mental health, activities to achieve serenity through conscious breathing, and possible solution to the problem, invitation to participate among others.
Now to finish, we can say that, considering the above, it is possible to conclude that mental health is important for good overall health, and that it was affected by the quarantines imposed by government to prevent the spread of the virus. The quarantines caused some of the population to suffer from anxiety or stress, including students who were affected by having to continue with classes from home. Throughout our project, we wanted people to have a space where they could express their feelings or emotions, and through communication, we could improve their mental health. Thank you, everyone.